Okay. All right, so we're just gonna talk about a little bit. Welcome to Menergy, first one. We'll grow in the future. Um, Everybody invite somebody next time, bring them to the table to have a conversation, get some good Menergy.
Indeed.
So today I wanted to talk about something that I wrote a song about. It's gonna be on my book project. It's called Peace of Mind, which to me can be. I'm not gonna say it is. Be positive, right? Can be an elusive concept for most men. And I'm not even gonna say especially black men. I'm just gonna say for most men, peace of mind could be an elusive concept. I think we died before our women for a reason. We spend our lives, at least most men that I know, including myself, until I came to this understanding, chased everything but peace. I think money is the number one thing men chase the most over peace. Booty probably be a very close second. But I wanted to talk about what that looks like for us. Just a little foundational, a little foundation here. There's reasons why a lot of us men, and this is for human beings in general, I think, but a lot of us men find solace in things like drink, weed, sex, sports, even. Anything money can buy, cars, clothes, smell goods, anything that's exterior that makes a person feel good and sets off your endorphins, I think is kind of a deterrent from the actual peace party that we're looking for. That makes sense.
Yeah, make perfect sense.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring the brothers in today and kind of talk about the first thing, where do you find peace and what keeps you from peace, you think? But first I want to ask the question of definition. We gotta lay foundation stuff first. Like, what is peace to y'all? Like, what does that look like? Like, how would you define peace? Like, I found it, there it is. This is what it is. Like, what would that be?
I'll let the Baba speak first.
Once you find, I think, for me, when you finding your purpose is, for me, is where I find peace. Want to really find my purpose, what I like, what I love. You know, I don't know who it was said it, but two of the greatest times in life is the day that you're born, and then the second, and then when you find out what you were born for.
That's dope.
Those are the because, like I tell my children, you know, I tell them to chase what's your passion. I think once you find your passion, whatever it is, then I think you find peace. Because once you find your passion, for instance, money don't matter once you find your passion. Because if your passion, hypothetically, say if you're an artist, as we all know, be it a vocal artist or musician or painter or sculptor or whatever your field is, that is so fulfilling in terms of, because you get to be you, you get to do you, and money don't even matter. A lot of times too, if you think about people that make the most money, it's they do it and because that's what they love. It's just like I always say, I love what I do. I just get paid very well to do it. And I get paid very well to do it because I do it so damn good. And I do it so damn good because I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think what happens is too often to me, I think sometimes we misconstrue money. By that I mean a lot of times especially people that ain't got none, they notorious for demonizing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I said find so many people that ain't got no money demonize money. Uh, and 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 uh, and yes, are there some people that money is God? Of course. Are there some people that fix up the outside because they're wrecked up on the inside? Of course. But I would argue in the same breath, they can't find peace or clean up the inside. Uh, they look good on the outside because they haven't cleaned up the inside because they haven't found their calling and what they're supposed to do. You know, it's just like again, I tell my children, if you found your passion, it don't matter about the money piece because you can make all the money in the world, but if you go into a job that you don't like, it don't mean nothing. It don't fulfill you. But you could just be barely getting by according to American standards, and uh, and be barely getting by. But if you love it, you cool. You absolutely cool. Because again, I don't think I'll never forget. Malcolm, God rest his soul, was a dear friend of mine, Jamal Warner, and Malcolm said something to me that I always. When we're talking about money, because low key cat. Malcolm lived regular life. Some of his best friends were like guys working for the cable company. I'm talking about the guys that put in the cable and stuff like that. And Malcolm said, Tony, all money does is make you more what you are in the first place. And he was so right. And I think once you find your power in terms of what God made you for, and stay in your lane and don't even trip about what other people are doing, what other people got. Just stay focused on you. That's where I found my absolute joy. It's like, again, I'll wrap up because I don't want to hog the whole conversation. But for me, I'm in my work. I'm doing this big dinner on Wednesday with all these physicians, doctors, and some people. People I do some projects with flying in from New York. The greatest, and I'm making a lot of money from doing it. But you know what the joy was? Calling my friends who was physicians, and they say, "Yeah, Tony, I'll come. Yeah, Tony, I'll come." That was the greatest joy for me that I could possibly even think of. So I think that's what it is. Once you find out who and what you are, and not trip over what other people are doing, that's the beginning, I think, of finding peace. Once you find peace in your purpose, I think run hand in hand.
I'll say that, Bob. I'll say that. What you got, Mark?
Yeah, I definitely. I have to kind of tag line onto that, but I'll take it a different direction. I mean, yes, when you find what your purpose is, then you're definitely going to be passionate about it. And that could be what you outwardly express. Once again, like he mentioned with the arts. But then you may find it in, like, your calling is, it could be a gift. What you're passionate about with you could be, let's say, I'm looking for the, like a people person. You could be a person who's a gifter of service, right? You might be a caregiver. You might really like to make sure that people are okay, and you look out for them, and you really get charged by doing it. It comes natural. You're very empathetic. That could be your natural thing. It could be with your children and family, and always being there in that capacity. It could be with your brothers and friends that you build within, your collective, and how you tend to be there when they may need you, or you may be able to console them. It could come from mentoring, right? You may not get out there, as they would say with the baseball thing in the movie. They would say, if you build it, they'll come. And you might not have got out there in the big leagues playing baseball, but you might have been able to use what you knew about that and share it with others and mentor others and help them develop into the directions that they were going to follow their passions in whatever capacity that might have been, in sports or whatnot. And, it may really fill you in what you're doing, and you may not, be like the head of the Lakers or whatnot, but you might find that everything that you need is taken care of. You have a great network of people, that opportunities are always flowing for you because you're living in your passion.
That's right.
Yeah, I totally I totally go along with that. And some of us find, you know, maybe one particular thing that nails it, and then some of us find different attributes of ourselves where we find our peace, you know, in different things. I mean, in the beginning, uh, just not really going behind my creative expression and whatnot. Just coming up from a young teenager, since I didn't really take on you know, colleges and schools and stuff like that, my thing was, you know, my mom said, "Well, get a job, get something that has what you call it, you know, medical, et cetera, you know, the
Benefits.
things, benefits,
Benefits.
you know, the benefits, right? Right. So then what I found in trying to, you know, you fill out these different forms and whatnot at the educational places to find out what kind of a background, what's going to suit you. And the first wave was helping people. You know, I could be good with my hands and work in warehouses, etc. But when I was able to help people, customer service, and from an honest place, I was fulfilled. Then when I went in from that location to doing cable, even though I was dealing with all these products and all this, my thing was the communication directly with the people and try to make sure that they were taken care of, you know, while you know, still dealing with this corporate thing that's so focused on what do you call it, consumerism. So you know, my I was able to still be fulfilled going into work, especially when I had to work Sundays, and be able to show up and bring something positive into someone's home. So that I kind of found peace in that.
Hmm.
Mm.
Shizzle. Brother Mark, how you doing?
Uh, I'm good, brother. As always, I'm caught in my vehicle, brother, but I'm good. I wanted to drop in and share some of this energy. So I'm good, man. I appreciate the opportunity to share the space.
So, bro. So just so you know, we're talking about peace of mind, finding peace of mind as a man.
It's good. It's good. It's becoming more challenging nowadays, but that's a good topic.
Yeah, I figured that. I figured that. That's why I want to talk about it. Plus, it's a part of the book, so I want to try to do some research with y'all. See what some of the outcomes. I already know what it is. When I wrote this song, it was like I was feeling that way, really frustrated. Like I didn't have nobody to talk to. You can't call your homeboys. A lot of the time, you just got to go through it and figure it out. And hopefully, God speaks loud enough for you to be able to listen, so to speak. Right, but that's when I wrote that song. I had to. I was like, man, this is a real thing for us men in general. So I want to do this. Brother Shannon, Jigga Jigga DJ Vicious Lee in the building. What up with you, man?
Man, I'm all right, bro. Just actually home.
You got a break tonight?
Yeah, no, I got a break.
Shizzle. So just to fill you in, we're talking about peace of mind. What does that look like for us as men? Where do we find peace of mind outside of the bottle, the blunt, Baba for you, cigars, outside of the booty, outside of sports, outside of all the exterior distractionary things? Where do you find peace at? Even our women sometimes, maybe, hope we sometimes look for it in our women, but hey, I'm not gonna get into that one right now. But where do you find peace without using exterior devices and attachments to aid in that journey?
I think that's a difficult question, brother, because I mean, we think we all use external stimuli or external objects or people or circumstances or situations to find or to experience peace. Now, the problem comes when we become reliant on it and it's not available to us, or it becomes excessive and it begins to hurt our everyday life. But I mean, I don't, I mean, if I talk myself, if I speak personally, I mean, I walk, I meditation, I listen to music, but those are some internal sort of ways that I obtain peace. But I do, I mean, when I'm with my daughter and I'm walking, that brings me peace. When I'm driving, I'm listening to music and I'm, being attentive, but not, dealing with all the madness that's around me when I'm driving. The erratic drivers, I'm alert, but I'm listening to my music. That brings me peace. Being in this room is peace, and that's external. That's outside of me. So I personally think but I guess it's not impossible to find peace within. But I think it's difficult if you talk about peace only from an internal sort of perspective.
That's okay. I knew my brother Mark would have some contrarian
Nah,
responses.
that's not to be contrarian.
I knew that would come out with it. All right. Well, Shannon, what you got for that?
Well, he's funny thing. He mentioned something that I was going to say. Like for me, well, number one, I rarely lose my temper or I'm upset, because I don't let a lot of what's on the outside affect my inside. My wife she actually at some point would be nervous or be scared. She mentioned this, to me, and she's mentioned this to her family members. She's like, me and Shannon don't fight. And it's like, because I'm so easygoing and I don't let anything pretty much ruffle my feathers. It's rare that I get into a place where I feel like I gotta calm down or I gotta get away from everybody or get away from everything, because I guess I've got this mentality of I can only control things that I can kind of put my hands on. So like the things that are happening in the world, if I can't directly affect it, I say, you know what, I'm not going to let it get into my psyche. When I do need to kind of just, okay, let me just go be in some peace. It's usually on my bike. It's the gym. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. The only thing that I could say that kind of puts me in a place where I just pull away from everything is when I'm on my video games. But then I could say that's an outside thing that, that you have to bring into your space. But I say for me, I think really just, if it's not using anything, just relaxing and listening to some music. Music has always been my thing, regardless of how I'm feeling or if I'm sick, if I'm in a bad mood or whatever it may be, I get behind the turntables or start playing some music. I'm like, okay, that puts me in a better place all the time, but I can't really think of anything that, I'm not a meditator. I am a reader, but these are all things that you would have to let me pick this up or let me go to this to bring to you to bring that comfort. So that is a tricky question, because I think we all have something that we go to bring us a little comfort or to take us out of our reality at the moment.
Interesting answers, y'all. I don't know which Matrix it was. I think it was the last one, the third one, when they were at war with the machines as usual, but this was the real war. And I think Neo was headed to the machine city, but he had gotten blinded because they was in this battle on the way. And then they were near the clouds and some of the sentinels were chasing them. So she had to dip outside above the clouds. And then for a moment, they was like, oh, it felt like peace. They can see the sun again. They can see light again. Then they have to dip back down into the darkness again and go back to war, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that scene?
Yeah.
I I'm rounding everybody's statement up. It's kind of like we live in this I hate to put it this way, but this kind of dark cloud where we got to constantly do stuff, and then find things to kind of distract us from what we're experiencing to get temporary peace. But see, the peace that we're talking about right now that I intentionally came to talk about was that permanent peace, that unwavering peace, that tree trunk peace, that don't blow in the wind peace, if you know what I mean.
You know what? I was listening. I'm curious about something. I think we're talking about two different things.
Sounds like it.
What I'm hearing.
Yes.
Like I said, peace for me is finding my purpose. And the external things are the pleasures that come after finding my purpose. Like you said, cigars, okay? Well, I don't smoke a cigar to find peace. A cigar that I smoke and relax is my reward after having a peaceful, good day. I would argue that I can't, because I can't find peace in a cigar. I can't find peace in booty. I tried that. I don't do drugs and alcohol, so that's not my thing. The For me the peace, and it's not, and it's highs and it's lows. It's not. It's nothing is always constant. It's highs and it's lows. But I think for me, finding my purpose actually keeps me in more of a peaceful place more often than not. And I and I think some of the outside things, and again, some people may find because they're just distractions and or celebrations after you've had a good day. You had a good day and you closed some deals, or you made something happen. Well, then your joy may be in fact having a cigar. Your joy may be in fact having a drink. Your reward to yourself may be in fact playing on your game or whatever, or going to a game or watching one or whatever it is. That's that's the reward. It's like I used to tell my boys all the time when they smoking dope. I said, "How you getting high and you ain't found a job yet?" That don't make a lot of sense to me because all of those things are luxuries after you've done something productive.
Exactly.
To me. And I think that, and even as much as I said earlier, how much I love what I do, absolutely love it. But it doesn't define me. It brings me tremendous peace because it brings me joy because I love it so much. Uh, but 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 that's where again I would argue once you find your purpose, that's where you actually find the peace that you're looking for. And it's not going to be peaches and cream every day. That's naive to even think that that's real. That ain't even real. But it sure makes the hard times easier once you know what you on the planet for and what you were actually called to do, and you do it.
And what you're talking about is exactly what I'm talking about, though, Bubba. The piece you're talking about is that tree trunk. It doesn't change. The thing that changes are the branches and the leaves above that comes and goes and ebbs and flows, right? But that tree stays it unless some lumberjack come and cut it down, right? But other than that, it's not going nowhere. It's not changing. It's not doing anything. It's staying the same. It is the basis of this tree. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. The things when you go do what you just said, like I do the same thing. I have a good hood summit. I'm going to the cigar lounge to have me a celebratory cigar and kick it. Like
Right.
I did what I came to do, right? So those things are not, but I've done it too when I was kind of using it as a crutch also. I was trying to escape from some stuff. So I would go smoke me a cigar and I got stuck in that rabbit hole of trying to get out of it.
Right.
But you know what I mean? So, but that's when I'm not in my peace. But purpose is that trunk. It doesn't change. You don't retire from your purpose. But once you find it, and I love that statement you said. What did you say? That's 2 days of your life is when you're born and when you discover your peace.
What you're born to do.
Your purpose. You discover your purpose.
Right.
Right. That's a dope saying, because once you figure that out, now once you discover it, that's just the beginning. Now you gotta actually pursue it, and that's when the journey begins again.
Right.
It's kind of like a rebirth. It's when the journey begins again. You don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know what you're going to actually do, but you know that, hey, like for me, I'm born to speak. I didn't know how that's going to look. I didn't have any idea I would start something called PTHD and do it. but I did, and that's how it turned out for me. But whatever somebody else's purpose, I want to be an artist. I don't know if can I sing? Let me test this out. Do I draw well? What I do well? But I know that I know a 9 to 5 is not me. I'm an entrepreneur. How does that look? You can open up any kind of business, but what is it that you need to do for yourself that makes you happy and brings you peace at the end of the day?
Right.
Right? I don't want to go too far and start babbling. I want to make sure I get everybody that's coming in new. Joe Easy and CEO Nomad, how you doing? Please come in, give us a brief introduction, and I can let you know what we're talking about.
Hey, how you doing? This Joe Edwards. My name on Zoom though, Joe Easy. So from Mobile, Alabama. Currently in the Navy, and just want to listen. I'm listening in. Just want to get some, good advice, sound advice, and trying to better my life. So that's real. That's it. Referred
Appreciate
by
you.
so I was referred by Mr. Roger.
Mr. Meat. Okay.
Yeah, I finally. Okay, well, let me turn my camera on for a second, so I finally get to see face to face. Yeah.
Oh man, I never met you. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah. We always talk, but finally get to see you in person.
For sure.
Yeah,
Thank you for
appreciate
showing up.
it.
All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. CEO Nomad. What's up, Troy?
Yo, what's up? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm just coming out, check it out. Late to the game. I was actually taking a nap. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. But I'm here now and I was just checking out what y'all talking about. I'm an entrepreneur myself, and there's ups and downs in that business, but I'm pushing everything forward, trying to get things together, or getting things together, and moving forward with that stuff. And I've been on Jasir for a very long time because he's the one that got me into learning law and stuff. So that's about it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Appreciate everybody being here. We're talking about peace of mind, you guys, okay? So you know what the conversation is about. What does peace of mind look like as a man? Which can be an elusive concept for us because we're always chasing something other than peace for the most part. We're trying to bring everybody else peace before we bring our own for the most part usually. But I want to go here real quick. Oh, what was that? I don't know what that was. Here's a real good question. Have you ever experienced a moment of true inner peace? True inner peace, meaning the other things outside didn't matter. It felt good on the inside for you. True inner peace. And if you did, please try and give me a description of what that actually felt like. Was it maintainable? Was it sustainable? Did it stay? Then describe the moment itself. What did it feel like? Anybody grab it?
I feel it every morning. I do when I wake up. I do my prayer and meditation, right? I get out and I walk. I don't walk every morning, but I do definitely do my prayer and meditation every morning. And sometimes I'll feel like I'm just, and it happened throughout the day where it just hits me, where the joy of just being, the joy of just knowing. And sometimes, believe it or not, nothing in the world could be happening around me. I could be just sitting up at the house, and it just hit me. Because just a feeling of grateful, just being grateful. And when I think back on, and it just hits me, and it makes me think that I'm in a good space. Is it? It's euphoric, man. For me, it's euphoric. I never like ran when people talk about running and endorphins kick in or whatever. I would assume that that's the way that feels, but it's just like wow. It's like man, this is good, and it's not brought on necessarily by anything that happened or whatever or is happening. Certainly, it has happened when good things have happened or I've made something happen. But most of the time, it hits me during times of reflection when I'm just thinking about man, because for me, I've defied by God's grace. I defied logic and certainly American logic.
I mean, I had a son when I was born when I was 16. I dropped out of school to 7th grade, never went back. Hustled and grind, left at Detroit, moved out here by myself, didn't have nothing, didn't really know nobody. And everything that all the people that I met from the time I got here at 18 to the present day, at 69, it's been a good ride. Has been bumps along the way, of course. Divorces, children, and that didn't wasn't the best dad all the time. But I'm grateful.
Tap the screen until your fingers are tight. Hey, I appreciate that.
What's that?
Vicious Lee, what are you crushing for dinner, man? What you crushing? What you crushing?
Well, that's vicious. Yo, it's another call. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. And you're just grateful. Just grateful. Because I think what we don't do is spend enough time reflecting on where we come and where we're going and what it could be a lot worse. It could always be a lot worse. And we've overcome, all of us on this line. I don't know everybody's story, but to be Black in America, and just be and survive, that's incredible. Against all odds, that's incredible. Regardless of what your social economic are, because it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with just being here. Because every day you wake up, you got a shot. You know what I mean? It's on you at that point. I tell people all the time, they say, "Why are you doing that?" I say, "I'm good. God did what he need to do. He woke me up. After that, it's on me. It's up to me to carve out that space." And so I feel it all the time. I feel it when you just did that summit and the brothers came, Jasir, and the brothers came and the people showed up. That was a high for me. It wasn't my event, but I was a part of it. And I was that hey man, that's me. I feel it all the time.
Yeah, that was a high for me too. It felt good. Felt good. People show up that time. Thank you, Baba. Anybody else?
I'll say when I see just various synchronicities and moments where I'm either in nature or anywhere that when I see it, at one point I used to maybe look at things like, oh, that's a coincidence, that's a this and that. But the thing for me, since a youth, I was always able to just see patterns. And the more I began to trust that and understand that that was a part of God and the whole fabric, then I really, really get tickled now when I see it. And I kind of have these aha moments that I just look and see stuff, and it doesn't matter if anyone else gets it. I know what it is, and I'm elated just to be aware. So no, that's when I find it. Yeah, nothing can take that away. I laugh just thinking back about it in on a daily basis.
That's what I'm talking about, brother.
Yeah.
I want to moonwalk back to something that Baba said earlier, because to me, peace and purpose is synonymous. I think true peace is unattainable until you find true purpose.
I agree with that.
Right. I think we can have like bits and moments of peace, but that's probably happiness. That's not peace. Happiness and peace are not the same thing to me. I wanted to go into the purpose aspect of it because I watch a lot of videos and I watch a lot of stuff, doing research and stuff like that for these hood summits and other stuff I got to do. Like I'm doing a panel in August with these ladies. They want me to do this panel talking about healthy sex in our community, sexual health in our community, which is a taboo conversation for the most part in our community. But, and we had a conversation in one of the pre-production meetings, and I had to kind of like go in because they had no clue what I was talking about. But a man who's on his purpose is a very powerful man. I think that man is more powerful than a man with all the money in the world to me, because he knows who he is. But the thing about knowing who you are and being on your purpose can be a very lonely journey. you will eliminate a lot of people in the process. And if you don't have peace within yourself, you can't go crazy. I hope that makes sense. So that's why having peace is so important. Because if you don't have peace before you find that purpose, and you find purpose without that peace, yeah, it can be a ride that I'm not sure most people are ready for.
Can I piggyback on that, Jasir?
Please do.
Funny thing you said that. I'm actually in the middle of writing a dating book, and it's predicated on if James Bond would teach dating. And I picked James Bond because I was a fan of James Bond growing up. I used to watch a lot of his movies.
Shake it, never stir it. Go ahead.
And I noticed that James had all the beautiful women in the movies.
Right.
But the women was always, his purpose was the mission. Always the mission first. And the woman's purpose was James Bond. And James Bond would never focus on the women, and they loved that. He was always on a mission. Because if James Bond focused on the women, he will die. Because he had a very toxic, very high state of environment every time in this movie. And there's so many different concepts that I've been learning writing this about how to approach, how to be confident, how to do this. But the main purpose is your purpose. And sometimes we lose it by getting into relationships, and then the woman becomes our purpose, and then they move on, and then we're stuck. And before the woman, before the child, before all of that, you have a purpose here. And then those add on to it, but it can't be your main one, especially as a melanated man on this particular western side of the world. You have to have and stay on that. Everything else will fall in place. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say with that one.
I should. Brother Clinton Wood, you there? Woods. He's just listening in. Brother Clinton Woods. I see you saw you pop in. Just want to make sure we acknowledge you. All right, maybe he's on pause. But anyway, so, and y'all, man, do me a favor. Let's feel free to get candid on here. Like, this is a safe space where we can get really real. I like to, you know, if y'all know me, you know me. I get to the point. I like to get to the point. But who was that dropped off? Who's that? Oh, Mark. Raw Dog is coming in. This is about to be funny. All right.
Even though people,
there you go. He's back in. All right. So
I don't even know if people really understand what that purpose is anymore.
What you say, Mark?
I said, I wonder what people mean by my purpose. Because I don't know. Sometimes it feels like, and I'm not, present companies excluded, but when I hear the word purpose, I wonder, like, do people really understand like what that is? And if they do understand, how do they get to that point? And are they only at peace when they're living or actively working their purpose? And like, how do we is there a universal definition of purpose, or is each individual's definition different? And if my purpose is destroying people, is that still okay to actively pursue that, because that gives me peace? And so is purpose good only when it's helpful? No, I'm just curious. I'm just wondering what
Captain Contrarian.
No, I'm just trying to figure out, like, when we say purpose, it's almost like I hear purpose like love. Like, we gotta have love. Like, what does that even mean? You gotta have joy. I'm starting to understand what it means, but I'm just wondering, as a collective in this room, are we coming up with one definition, or do we have different definitions? And does that matter? I'm just curious, man. It's a thought exploration, that's all.
I think everyone was supposed to be able to have their own definition.
Uh-huh.
That is how you did preface it, right, Rod?
Yeah. I mean, everyone has their definition of what it means for them, but there is still a common denominator, right?
Okay.
So how would you define purpose, Jasir?
I mean, like, again, let's look at nature, right?
Yeah.
If I asked you, what do the bees do? What is their why did God make bees? What would you say?
I would say one of the main things is to pollinate.
And why we need the pollination?
Well, I think it helps to, keep things from overgrowing. It helps to keep balance in nature.
It helps things to grow because the pollination helps
Right.
new plants to grow, right? It plants
Yes.
seeds, and without that pollination, we probably wouldn't have forests, we wouldn't have bushes, we wouldn't have flowers, right? So
Right.
animals know their purpose. They're born innately knowing what they're supposed to do on this planet.
Right.
It's human beings who have struggles with figuring out why they were born.
I guess because we have a higher capacity of thought too, man. We're able to, reason, and we have, that frontal lobe gets in the way sometimes. But I think that frontal lobe is what makes us human, right? And so I'm just wondering, like, I'm curious to hear from some of the other brothers. How would I get what you're saying, Jasir, and I agree with you. Like in nature, there is animals and insects and trees. There's like you can say, oh, that's the purpose of that. So that's the purpose of that ant. That's the purpose of that bee, that raven, that vulture that people hate, love to hate. That if that vulture wasn't eating dead bodies, it would, decompose and it'd be disease around. So there's a purpose to that, right? But we as humans, man, we think deeply. We can take a wood from the tree. The purpose is to produce wood and build houses, right? And so is my purpose singular, or is it multifaceted? And if it is, I'm just curious. Now I'm just trying to figure out, because when someone says we're at peace when we have our purpose, then how are you defining that? Is it singular or is it multifaceted?
It's really not rocket science though. At the end of the day, it's just what's the reason for being, basically. Like, what is a wrench used for? To unlock nuts, right? And bolts and shit, right? Like, human beings are tools on planet Earth too. Just like we're not separate from animals, we're not separate from nature. Hopefully, we're not. Right? We're all supposed to play a part in this journey called Earth. So, with that being said, like, what do you do to contribute? Basically, what's your contribution to the Earth? Like, what is your gift to give back to this planet? In the world that we live in a world that there's different types of things. We're not necessarily farmers anymore, but in the world that we live in, we still can contribute and make it a better place than we found it. One of my coldest analogies that I can think of right now, I'm a music lover like Shannon, right? But when they came out with the iPod, I almost lost my fucking mind. I was like, what the fuck? I ain't got to bring out records and tapes and have broken tapes and kind of tape the shit back together no more. I ain't got to have cracked ass scratch CDs. I could just put this thing in one place. I was like, thank you, Steve Jobs. You are fucking awesome. But that was his journey to come bring something to the planet to make it better than he found. He made music better than he found it, to me. Right? So when you find your purpose and why you do that, that's what I mean. Whatever it is for you is for you. We can have the same journey. You're a speaker too, Mark, but you might speak in a different way than me.
Yeah.
You might do something different than me. But Rakim is a speaker. KRS-One is a speaker. Malcolm X is a speaker, but they do it in different ways, right?
Right.
So how it looks is your journey connected to your talent. Your purpose connected with your talent is when you're on that track, on that fast track to heaven, on planet Earth. When you connect those two. And then peace is coming.
I can dig that.
Anybody else have anything before I go to the next one? I'm not going to keep y'all too long. Going once, going thrice. I guess that's it now. All right. So, if you haven't found peace just yet, and just remember, for the sake of conversation, peace is still synonymous with purpose. If you haven't found that peace yet for yourself, consistently, I mean, because remember, though, we can have happy moments, but those are happy moments. Peace is lasting. Peace is like Bruce Lee, flowing with the water. You don't move either direction, no matter where you are. You don't allow, like Shannon said, I don't allow people to get into my space and interrupt what I'm doing. I don't react to people. I don't react to things. I stay focused and grounded. I can tell you right now, I struggled with that my whole life. Like I was never Shannon. Like I was a reactionary mother. I'm telling you, like I was, okay, yeah, we gonna do all of that. But I had to learn to be different. I had to practice being different. I had to rewrite new programs to change the way I do. And it's still sometimes a little topsy-turvy struggle at times. But that's a part of me. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you for socking me in the chest at 12 years old. But at the same time, I had to learn these things as I moved on through my journey. So what are some of the distractions you think? What are some of the things that gets and kind of impedes your peace? Like you could be having a great moment. What would that thing? Could it be your wife? Could it be money? Could it be, and let's be honest again, maybe a lot of us, especially men, are walking around depressed and not willing to admit it. Hopefully nobody here, but a lot of men are walking around depressed and don't even know it. I can tell you firsthand, I was depressed about 2 years ago. It lasted about a year and a half. I didn't know how to get rid of that shit. It was amazing. But first time in my life I felt that. But I'm still low-key recovering from that, to be honest. But at the same time, there's things that gets in the way of that peace. What would that, if we're speaking honestly, what is something that takes you out of your orbit from time to time?
Everything. Well, I would say everything that I can't control. And the fact that it breaks me out of my rhythm is because I allow it to. Me and my friend has this thing. Once we start feeling some type of way, we start saying like a Matrix quote. You think that's air you breathing? The moment you think all of this matters or it's real, that's when depression kicks in. And I have to remind myself, will this matter in 10 years? Is this life threatening? Can I overcome this? It's self-talk, because if you don't have positive self-talk, negative talk lives rent-free in your mind and it starts to crumble. You got to be very careful with that. So that's the only time I know if I'm feeling some way, I think money matters. I think this relationship matters. I think all of this is real. My life insurance, my this, my that, and none of it is. That's what keeps me back to balance again.
That's dope. That's dope, bro. Anybody else? What takes you off of your square? What takes you out of your orbit? Just keep it a buck.
The sadness of my children or my grandchildren. You know, there's a saying that if you got kids, you can only, as a parent, you can only be as happy as your saddest child. And when you look at it, I mean, their happiness is key, because when they're happy, you cool. I mean, there are other things that can happen, but really to take me out of that space is the sadness that my children may be going through, the things that I can't do to fix it, the things that they're doing that I maybe shared with them not to do, but they still do it and it's damaging. Because again, if they cool, I'm cool. You know what I mean? That's the one thing, the one surefire thing that can in fact knock me out. Because again, as I say, I love my work and all that, but I could just have landed the biggest contract, working with some people across the country that I really like and love, and then my daughter can call me and say she's sad or she needs this or a job or just anything that saddens her, or my grandson is giving her the blues or something like that. Well, then at that point, none of that stuff matters to me. None of the things that matter to me, because I'm only as happy as my saddest child. And when my kids are happy and my grandchildren are happy, I'm cool, because I can handle the rest of the stuff. But the vulnerable ones in my life who I gave life to, that I want to be happy, and then when it comes to challenges, that saddens me. That can break my heart. That puts me in a bad space. That more so than any other thing I can think of. in my life. Because again, think about it. Certainly any of us that have children, you would sacrifice your life for your child. Because that's the most important thing to you. So can you imagine when they're sad or they're hurt and you can't do anything about it? Nothing, all the things that's supposed to mean something to you mean to you at that point mean nothing to you.
Thank you, bro. Damn.
That's true. That's true.
Real. That's real shit. Yeah. Anybody else got something? Okay. Well, let's go here. Do you feel guilty when you prioritize your peace? When you prioritize reserving your own peace?
Hell no. No.
I mean, let's keep it a buck. We men, right? Most men give towards the family before they give to themselves.
Well, I'm an only child, so I was always first. So I have learned to make sure that I'm taking care of it and then take care of everyone else around us. There are definitely those times when, you got to put your wife first or maybe the kids, whatever. Luckily, my kids are grown, so they don't really come knocking on the door. But lately with my wife's, health struggles, sometimes I have to put my stuff on the back burner to make sure that she's okay. It doesn't necessarily take me out of my space because I think for me, doing something to help is my thing that makes me feel good and feel like I'm the man that I'm supposed to be. So when I'm doing stuff to help someone else, I mean, that doesn't make me upset or angry. It's just like, okay, this needs to be done. And I know after I do this, or whatever it may be for whoever it may be, the positive energy and the blessings will come back to me.
That's right.
Indeed.
That's right.
Yeah. I would like to say that my mom referenced it, but a good metaphor or a way to kind of explain it is like when you're on the airplane and to help others, if you don't make sure you're okay, how the hell are you going to help anyone else? So I think that you have to prioritize your peace so you'll be in the right frame of mind to be able to assist others that may not be in theirs and dealing with anything that you may face in being there for the others.
Okay. Who else got something? One more person, if it's anybody.
I don't think I feel guilty, man. I feel maybe sometimes I may feel a pause if we're still talking about peace, right? If I know other people are struggling around me that I love, and I'm still practicing and I'm not feeling the same disruption in any given situation, I may feel a pause and me trying to help them to get where I am, but I don't know if I feel guilty, man. I don't feel that way anymore. I used to, I guess. But the more I practice and the more I realize that everyone has a choice, and I'm not saying that choice is always, it comes easy. I mean, the results of that choice comes easy, but everyone has a choice, man, on how they respond to things. Children, though, I mean, children, they I don't hold them to the same responsibility, man, but you start early to try to get them to think in that mindset, but I don't really feel guilty anymore, brother. I feel like, yeah, I deserve it, man. I deserve it because of how I practice living. And I don't feel guilty about that.
Coming from where we come from, coming back to the whole concept of what I do now, PTHD. And Bob, I know you hate the hood concept, but I'm going there right now. The post-traumatic hood disorder concept, I want to dive into a little bit as the last question, because Where I grew up at, which I think a majority of us here on the screen grew up in a similar environment, did not prioritize peace or ever even talk about peace. Unless it was a peace treaty for gangs for 2 weeks and they went back to war again. But I never really had a true conversation about peace growing up where I did. Am I the only person that experienced that? Did y'all grow up hearing about peace? Maybe it was in your house a little bit, but it definitely wasn't outside my front door.
Peace was something I watched on TV, like a peace treaty or the government is doing something at war and there's peace. My life was just about survival. I used to tell myself if I can get past 25, I'm good. I can probably live to be an old man. So that was my goal when I was younger, living over there on Crenshaw on 29. It was nothing about peace. It was about survival.
Yeah. 25, that's for real. Man.
I don't think I understood the concept of peace, but I heard, I guess, things that related to peace. Like my mama would say, don't disturb your grandmama, she rested. She had a hard day at work. Meaning, don't disturb your grandmother's peace. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, my father would say to me, no, I get to that. You know, I'm focusing right now. He's an actor. I'm focusing on my line, you know, and I know acting now gave him peace. So I understand now people had things that they did to be in that state of mind that we're talking about, but I didn't actually, it was never a conversation of this is actually called being at peace. This is actually something that you should practice. That never happened, but I understand now in hindsight that people all around me were struggling or working to have peace in their different ways. They just didn't have a community like this to help them to understand how to sustain it and how to not let someone disturb it.
Okay, let's do this. Do me a favor, y'all. We almost done now, though, but do me a favor. Let's not talk in third person. Meaning, let's not talk about what other people do. Let's talk about us specifically. If that makes sense.
I think there's a difference. I think to me, again, I'm hearing two different things. There's a difference between peace and rest.
A big difference.
I think sometimes when we may say don't disturb my peace, but in actuality, for me, again, I can only talk about me. It's like my rest. Don't disturb my rest because I'm at peace, but I need rest. Peace and rest are two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I see rest in terms of that's the time when we are to ourselves to recharge that battery. Because again, I find joy in what I do. I find joy in people. My thing that I love so much is connecting people, working with people, putting things together that's going to make a difference in the lives of my people, my friends, my community. And that's what brings me tremendous peace. But even that is taxing sometimes. So a lot of times I just need rest so I can come back and enjoy what brings me and what actually which is my purpose. Enjoy my purpose. Because if you're really into your purpose, it can drain you sometimes, recognizing your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But without rest, you're not good for your purpose or your people.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that peace though, brother? When your autonomic nervous system is not activated and you are at peace. Peace is that when you have balance, when you have calmness.
Not for
Right?
me.
I mean,
Not for me.
well, I'm just saying, but if you were in your purpose and everything around you was disruptive, right? And you are in that environment, there's a tornado around you. Yeah, if you know your purpose and you know you came to this place to give peace to it, there may be an interruption in your peace because you're seeing carnage. If you go to Gaza right now and see starving kids, your peace may be interrupted.
Oh,
Right?
my heart is broken. That's not my peace. My heart is broken. It's not my
I
peace.
hear you.
That's my heart is broken. Again, I think what happens, it's not monolithic. It's not the same for everybody. There's no right.
Right.
I would argue that there's no right and wrong answer. Again, as
Right.
Jasir said, I can only speak for me.
I got you.
And because if I'm in the middle, if it's a tornado around me, you ever notice there's nothing. The center of the eye of the tornado is calm. It's only the
It
sides.
is. No, you're right.
That's all I'm saying. It's only the sides that cause disruption and destruction.
Yeah.
The eye is calm, because there's nothing happening in the eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, again, it's rest that actually makes me really celebrate and enjoy my peace. But if you don't have rest, it's just like I said, uh, with my children, if they're not and loved ones, I should have extended that beyond my children, but certainly my loved ones. That can disturb you, but once things are cool, then I need rest. And that's just me. Again, I'm not good. I'm like you said, brother, I'm not good at third person. I can only talk about my experience.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, I respect that.
Yeah. I'm asking this question because if we came from this environment, this is our beginning, then how do we even know what peace is? How do we define it? That's why I think people are looking for so many different definitions of what it is, when peace is simply being able to be still. You see this picture on the screen right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I did that is because this is a presentation I made recently. It's called Renege. And I've been making this analogy for a long time, and I finally found a picture that made sense to kind of illustrate what I'm trying to say. Because being at peace is just like being at a vegan at a barbecue. It's the same thing to me. It's a weird analogy, but it's a ghetto analogy. I know, I get it, but it works for me. So if you don't get it, let me explain it. So if you've probably seen this movie, it's called Roscoe Jenkins, right? With Martin Lawrence and them.
Mm-hmm.
When he went back home and he was a vegan and they was cooking all this good Southern food and he had to try to fight through his urges to go back to the meat. Right? So this is that scene right here. But I've been explaining this since I've been vegan, because anytime you go somewhere, people are always trying to get you to eat a piece of the meat like you don't know what the hell chicken tastes like. Right? So you have to be very strong to sit into those environments and not waver. Not take a bite of it because it smells so good and you're hungry, because it ain't nowhere around here that you can eat right now, and especially if you didn't eat before you came. If you are an alcoholic, you're covering alcoholic, and you should be able to go into, once you are truly healed, you can go into a space and not order a drink and not feel any way about it. If you are truly over an ex, you can see her at anywhere, especially if she's your child's mother. You can see her anywhere and still be cordial with her, right? I saw this lady the other night. I was in this spot. She had been talking mess about me for a long time, and I got wind of it again about 2 months ago. We had one of those bad breakups, but I don't talk about her like that. But she's been talking about me in the crazy way. I've been over the situation a long time ago, but I saw her recently. Now, that was either my moment to respond to what I heard or do something different, right? When I saw her, I just walked up to her. I said, "Hey, how you doing, sis?" And I gave her a hug. "How you been?" Just gave her the news, weather, sports bullshit talk. And after that, I was like, "Take care, be cool, all right?" And I just walked away. She has no idea I know what I know. So when you're at peace with what you're dealing with, you're okay with whatever happens, because whatever is happening is not for you, it's happening through you. It's not about you. So whatever she needed to learn her own. Maybe she didn't get it yet, but for me, that has nothing to do with it. I know who I am. I'm at peace with who I am. I'm at peace with my dirty laundry and my clean linens. Either way it go, I'm good. I know where my bones are buried. I know what I need to work on. And that's a part of peace too, knowing where and being okay with that thing. Not accepting it, but owning it. Does that make sense, y'all?
Not accepting, but owning it.
Owning
Yes, sir.
it. There's a difference. You don't accept it. You don't make it a handicap. You don't be like, "Well, I'm from LA. This is how we get down." No, that's just where you were born, bro. That's what you have to experience for that moment. That don't mean you carry that the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Is you can't. If you want to advance in certain areas, you can't take that with you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. I like that analogy.
We can't take all of our experience. They're not supposed to go. You're supposed to sift some of that stuff out and take with you what matters to where the direction you're headed. Now, hopefully, you know where you're headed. And that goes back to what Baba was talking about, knowing your purpose. Right?
Mhm.
I want to leave y'all with this. It's a defining moment right now. We gave a little definition to it earlier, but I wanted to do this one. Where did it go? Here it goes. Here's a quote I found for what peace is, right? Peace is not the absence of noise, trouble, or hard work. It is being in the midst of those things and still feeling calm in your heart. So when they're talking about you, when the world is going crazy, the tornadoes are blowing outside, metaphorically. I don't know what I would do when a tornado's outside my window. I'm probably running like muck. I don't know. Anyway, but when that tornado, when the stuff is blowing outside, you can't stand that attitude when your wife is giving you, like, whatever it is, you got to stay Billy D. You got to stay Bruce Lee. You got to stay in your space and your peace. That's when you know you're at peace with something. So if anybody here is dealing with something that has been troubling them, and man, we know we got some stuff. Let's keep it above. Everybody got something that they're holding on to, especially men, because we put our stuff, we bury our bones in the back and hope nobody ever see it. Because for the most part, we don't really usually have a space to let that out. Does everybody agree to that?
Yeah.
So
Tuck it in. Mhm.
we usually have something, no matter how well we're doing in life. We all have something. Now, there's a difference between healing and being healed. I think healing is a constant thing you're going to always be doing. It depends on how deep the wound was for you. If it was surface level, you're probably not tripping off of it very much. But if it was deep and required stitches, you're probably still thinking about some of that a little bit. And you won't know how much you have healed and became with peace with it until you face it again or something close to it. And that's when we start moving towards the energy of peace, because peace is a part of the journey. It's to me, peace is a destination. Like, I'm trying to get to peace in certain areas. Certain areas I'm at peace with, I'm good. Certain areas, if I'm being honest, I'm not. Because certain areas, certain things still bother me in certain areas. Does that make sense again? Like, in certain areas, if you're bothered by something, you're not at peace with that thing.
But it's also important to realize that life ain't Disneyland.
Absolutely not.
You're gonna have challenges.
Absolutely not.
You're gonna have challenges. That's part of life. As minutes
Yes.
you going along good, then life kick in. The reality of it is being prepared for that and how we handle it when those bumps in the road comes. And that predicated on how we handle it, that brings us tremendous joy when you come out on the backside of it and you actually use the tools that you've learned in life experiences, and actually, especially if you've had friends and colleagues and brothers that you could talk to and share that help you come to healthy conclusions and solutions, then you find yourself right back in that place of peace. But challenges in life, it's just part of it.
It's part of the journey.
And I think part of the challenge is also it helps you find out who the hell you are and what you're made of. When I moved out here, I'll never forget. I moved out here. I called home. Back in Detroit, my family, Thanksgiving was like a major, major, major holiday. Everybody would come over my house, and my mom would cook and blah 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 blah. Long story short, I was here and I was living in a little motel. And all I had was some potted bean crackers and some Vienna sausages. And I called home and it was raining. I'll never forget that. It was raining and I heard all the noise in the back. Everything that I knew that was what was true to what I grew up in, the joy and the fun. And they asked me, "How you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm having a great time. I'm going out to some friend's house for dinner and blah, blah, blah." And I'm lying my ass off, right? Because one, I didn't want my mom to worry about me because I'm 18 years old. I'm here by myself, right? And I hung up and I knew that had I done anything differently, I wouldn't have known who and what I really was. That was my time to dig down and pull out what I know that she and my grandfather and them had instilled in me. And it was tough, but I overcame it. That's why I'm saying every day is a new start. You got a chance to do it. You got a chance to get it. Uh, and we can curl up in the fetal position, stick your thumb in your mouth and start whining and crying, or we can just suck it up, and because challenges only really let us know who and what we're made of at the end of the day. And by God's grace, if we're ever fortunate to have one or two good brothers that we can talk to and be honest, not go there all that fake ass vibrato and but just be butt naked honest in terms of how you feel. One of the greatest things that liberated me was when I was able to tell other people that I knew I'm broke. For some reason, that's one of the hardest things for a brother to say. I'm broke. I'm short. And that was liberating for me when I said, "Man, I ain't got it. I'm short. I'm broke." And those are little things that help us grow in terms of us growing and help us find that peaceful place for me.
Mhm. Anybody else have any closing remarks before we close out? Going once, going twice. I'm seeing, was that text message? What is that? Oh, that's something else. Okay. Well, okay. With that being said, being that we are all men here, and I mentioned something about me watching videos earlier. I'm gonna close with this. I've been watching a lot of videos about these. No, we have a gender war going on right now. There's a lot of men versus women stuff going on right now. I don't really like it, but and a lot of men traditionally want to lead naturally, right? They want to lead their families. We're supposed to be the leaders, and our women is supposed to follow us, right? But let me ask you this, and that's the reason why I asked you that question about where you grew up at, if you've ever seen peace or was taught it. My last question to everybody, whoever wants to grab the mic, feel free. If you don't feel like this is a conversation for you, you want to jump into, that's okay. How do you lead a family without knowing what peace is? And then remember, peace is attached to your purpose. Is that possible? Leading a family without knowing that?
You can't lead a family unless you got a partnership. That's key. You got to have partnership because you don't do it alone. That's straight out of Europe. You know what I mean? Like all that old, I'm doing it all by myself. Think about it. Yeah, there are roles and responsibilities that men and women in relationship. But it also, like we know when you have children, the primary nurture is the mother. That's primary, but that don't mean you ain't gonna change the baby's diaper and he or she sit up with boo boo and all that on you. Wait till your mama get home. That's insane. No different than if I'm outside fighting and I'm fighting more people than I can handle. I don't want my woman to get in the car, roll up the window, start crying. Take off your earrings, come out there and get down with me. You know what I mean? It's a partnership, and I think without partnership. You ain't nobody gonna have no peace. You ain't gonna have nothing, she ain't gonna have nothing, and it's certainly gonna spew over to the children. Because they feel it. They see it. They feel it, even when you don't say it, even if you ain't arguing, cussing at each other in public. They feel it. And I think true peace and relationship and family is a relationship. Some of the greatest things I saw when my mom and my stepdad worked together to do stuff. And he worked and she saved the money. She would book numbers and he would go to work at the factory. She booked them and they pooled their resources together. And they seemed like they were at their happiest when they were partnering and everything. And I think if a lot of us are honest, we're at our happiest as men in terms of being able to be decent men, fathers, and leaders when we're in partnership.
Interesting.
I agree with the brother. I also think that it's you can show like moments of peace or whatever characteristic you are displaying. Like my father was a very responsible man, but he didn't show a lot of love. Like I took the responsibility from him, but I also now I understand how to show love, how to be love, how to project love. And so I can teach that and I can show that, I can demonstrate that. So I think it's difficult to have someone who doesn't understand peace to translate that to someone in a way that's going to be sustainable for them, right? Because if you are, it's teaching a language, right? If I know a bastard style of a language or a hybrid of a language, I can teach that. But then when the person goes to a country where they actually speak the language, they may be able to navigate a little bit, but it's going to be difficult for them. It's going to be difficult to get around. Some of the words may sound different because the person didn't teach them correctly. So I do think that it's difficult for someone. I didn't say it's impossible because my father showed me love in the way that he showed me. So I understood now that his love was through giving and responsibility. But like emotional content type based love, I understand that that is something that I had to learn partly through my mom's and partly through just my own experiences.
Is it me? Let me ask a question. Is it me? But you like you said, family peace. Can you lead a family without peace? Is it me or am I the only person? Has anybody else on this call ever been in a relationship? You come in and the world and kicked your ass from dusk to dawn, and you go and if you're honest with yourself, and you go to your woman, you say, "Man, it was a rough day," or she sees it, and you get to actually put all that bullshit down and lay on her breast, and she tell you, "You know, we got this. It's gonna be okay." You could go out. That's the energy that you need to. That's when you help to lead a family, because then you can get that strength that you need, that eternal strength that you need, and get up and hit it the next day. That's that for me. Now that's what's real to me. Cause I can't, it ain't me against the world. It's us against the world.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
I
I'm
think
a piggyback that real quick. When I was married twice, but the last one, I was out doing some work in the streets, and the police got behind me. If you grew up in the hood, it's automatically signal that your stomach dropped, that you're gonna get pulled over. And I didn't care about the ticket because at the time I'm a ticket man. I didn't really care, but it was about the harassment of it all. Right? They got behind me, and this was around the time when there was a lot of brothers getting shot by police at that time. So, but they kept going and moved around me, and they kept going. When I got home, I told her what had happened. No, I made a video about it online. She saw the video online. It came to me, was like, "Why you didn't tell me? You feel more comfortable going online and say this without letting me know how you feel?" I was like, "Yeah, because I don't feel peace with you like that." Like I didn't have that. I never had what Bob was talking about, that woman that supports, and because she don't know what peace is really, probably. So I've never had a woman who truly knew what peace was, that can give that motivation. So who's that about to talk? Was that you, Troy?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Going back, I feel the same way with you, Jasir. If I had that, I'll be married. I haven't found as of yet a woman except one I met. I met her about 46 years ago, and she's called my mother. And she's the only one that has done that when I went to my lowest of lows, where they said, "You go low, I go to hell." I went low. And my mom was like, "Don't worry, we're going to figure this out." She always believed in me. And so she was always the one that was there for me. No other woman. If I can find a woman just 25% of my mom, I'll be satisfied on the planet Earth. That's all I got to say about that.
Ooh. This is heavy. We're getting heavy now at the end.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for real.
at the tail end, because that's a real thing. And how Baba defined it, being able to come home and put your head on her breast and just be able to feel at home and know she got your back. Like, that's an energizer for any man to go back out and continue doing what he got to do. But if he can't find that, like, man, the only way you can get it from is your mom. I ain't had my mom since 1999, so that means I'm in trouble.
Well, you know you got to be it to find it.
Exactly. Well, that's a good one. I'm gonna come back to that, but hold on, let that marinate for a second. You got to be it to find it.
Yeah,
I think I know what you mean, but go ahead. Let me let you break that down, Bob.
Yeah, I think you have to be. I think you have to be as strong and transparent as and noticing her and reading her. She has bad days too. And can you? It's like again, what my son. I remember my son wasn't working one day, and his wife was working, making the money and whatnot. And he was depressed and sad and all. I said, I got that. I said, but brother, in between looking, you know what you can do? Try clean up the house. Try cooking. Try having the meals ready when she gets home. Why can't you do some of those? Because it don't always money don't always mean that you the man because you making and bringing it on home. Their role. We all have roles to play in relationship. Can you give what you want? A lot of times you get lot of
Mm.
times you get back. It's hard to get money out the ATM if you ain't putting none in. It's hard to get it out. I promise you. You can stand there all day and
Mm.
push your code. Ain't a damn quarter coming out. You got to put something in to get something out. And a lot of times we have to ask ourselves, what are we putting in? Now, I'm not saying that everybody always gonna get the best because if you're honest with yourself, you ain't been the best always either. So it's work. It's constant. You know, and I think once you put it, I've been fortunate. Most of the relationships that I had that I messed up, I messed it up because I was being a fool. I was out there chasing bras, doing stupid shit because again, I didn't have peace and I couldn't, and I was trying to fill that hole in my soul with pussy. Some people try to fill it up with weed. Some people fill it up with cocaine, alcohol, or gambling, or whatever your vice is at the time. My drug of choice was pussy. And only until I came to terms with that the hole in my soul was not going to be filled with that. And I had to tap into the best of who and what I was and be honest with myself, was I and be able to give what I wanted to get back. And because I didn't have the courage, and I mean this humbly, so it ain't no boasting kind of thing. I talk good. I talk for a living. But at home, I was silent. I was like a little bitch. I didn't say what it is I felt, the things that were bothering me. I didn't say any of the things that bothered me. As opposed to addressing them and hammering them out and figuring out earlier on if this was going to work or I was going to cut bait and move on somewhere else. I chose to just run the streets every now and then, get a little pussy, come on back home, wash that motel soap off of me, and come on back to the pad. But then when I decided that I would be open and honest, then I noticed that it was reciprocal. You know what I mean? So again, once you put it in, and that's not to say that you're always going to get back what you put in, but if you always try to be your best self, sometimes that's satisfaction within itself because you could at least walk away and say, "Well, I did what I thought was right." But I would argue more often than not, especially if you got the right one, if you give back, you'll get back what you'll get what you get. Because think about it, even in our relationship as men with other brothers. We put more honest and friendship into that than we do a lot of times with our woman. You tell your friend, your woman should be your best friend. Your woman should be the one you should talk to. You know what I mean? And then if you ain't, and in relationship with our friends and brothers, if a guy's really your friend and he see you getting off track, it's his duty to tell you, man, what's happening? Or what's happening? Because I know why you ain't chasing your bro. What's going on? Especially if you know your wife or your woman, he should pull your coat and say, "What's happening? Let's talk about it." Because there's something else going on. 90% of the time, there's something else going on. It ain't. We try to claim, "Oh, it's about pussy." Most of the time, to be honest with ourselves, she can look up long, and you can look down. So and most of the time, it really ain't about no pussy. It's about something else that's bothering you that you haven't addressed. So I just think it's just a matter of just being straight up and honest with each other.
I feel that a man will test his relationship, and if she doesn't do just that, then the man's going to shut down and won't ask her again and do what Jasir was doing, going online to get his emotional support and not his woman. Because when I was in relationships, I would, it's not a test, but I would give breadcrumbs to see how she responds if I can give all of myself to her. And it was never, I never felt that she picked up any of the breadcrumbs. And that, you know, I was always the one that was the moral support because I knew so much about stuff. That's why women like to date older men because they want to learn from us. But it gets to a point, who do I go to when I'm having a problem? They knew who to go to when they had one. They called me up. And I had solutions to their problems, believe it or not. But when it was time for me to get through stuff, they had no suggestions or they had attitudes. Why you go there? Why are you friends with him then? And they're just like, that's not what I want to hear right now. So when I didn't get the response, then I just stopped communicating to her about those things to begin with. And that's the issue that we find as men. We don't have nowhere to go. I guess people now go into AI and all this, but you don't want to be telling AI your personal business because it's training on you. It's learning from you. So it's a rough spot. And they're out there. You have to be that for that to attract, but you'll know when it's there. But it's nothing because it's what I can do for her. It's why she's there. If I'm giving her something or value, it's why she's with me. But what if I can't give you that? Are you still rocking with me? That's the thing where unconditional love, like a parent, it's amazing once you get of an age to know what it is. When you're young, you just like, I've been knowing my mom my whole life. It doesn't matter. But when you realize, dang, she has my back before the world knew who I was, she didn't care.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying, brother. Again, I'm only speaking for me. I ain't not trying to put you in that box, but for me, that was punkified to me. If I was in the same situation, but what was punkified for me is I didn't say nothing about it. I should have said something about it. If it wasn't working, I should have had enough nuts to say this ain't working and I'm out, as opposed to letting me lower myself to a lower standard, running the streets, chasing bros, throwing away money and all that stuff. That was on me. Because we all see, and again, I think that there's a difference between the love that your mama, because I love the ground my mama walked on. But guess what? In relationship, love is conditional. It ain't no unconditional love. If you don't do this, I ain't gonna do that. I don't want to love nobody. Don't love me. And I go to church every Sunday, but you can't hit me on one side of my face and I'm praying for your ass while you hit me on the other. It don't work like that. That's crazy. That like, you accept Jesus, you ain't got to do nothing. Well, you do got to do something. You got to read. You got to study. You don't just get it because you show up. You got to put in. You got to put in some energy, some muscles. And I think that's where we fail because we take the shortcut. And I'm only speaking for me. I took the shortcut. I didn't do the heavy lifting. And I'm forever. I finally got to the point where I'm not ashamed, where I don't penalize myself and and all that other stuff. But I felt bad that I didn't open my mind. Ain't no way in the world a Negro could talk good as much as I can, and I couldn't talk to my woman. Something was wrong with my ass. I ain't blaming nobody but me.
In closing, y'all, I know it's getting late. We're supposed to be here an hour, but the conversation got good. In closing, I'll say this. And this is going back to Baba's point again. The moral to this conversation was peace of mind. That's finding peace. The thing is, from my experience again, I'm not telling anybody what to do or how to think, but from my experience again, once you find that peace, again, to Baba's point, it's going to be hard for one of those women to get back into this, to get with you now. I'll put it that way. Once you find that peace, again, most important days, birthday, the day you find your peace. The day you find your peace, you found your purpose probably. And then once you understand what that is, you're looking for somebody different that fits and plugs into that. For me, I know that it's a small pool of women you're gonna be able to choose from that's gonna fit into that mold. I had no idea what that was when I got married, both times. I had no idea what that was until probably about 46 years old. And I still didn't have a full understanding. I still was trying to work through the kinks. But once you go through that process, it's a process. It's a self-elimination process because once you understand that, there's not very many people gonna fit anyway because everybody ain't supposed to fit. It's only that person that's supposed to fit. The issue is where the hell is that at, right? But that's what God got to work on. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Just keep working on you. But that's what I was going to say too. There's a saying in my spiritual walk, and when I say this stuff, a lot of people always take it personal, like that's crazy. That ain't true, but it's very true if you sit back and think about it. There's a saying in my spiritual walk. They say, if you're single, that means you're sick. Look at Mark's face. Look at Mark's face.
I can't get with that one.
I gave you the forewarning, right? When I say that, a lot of people look at that one crazy. But look, sit back and marinate with that thought for a minute. Like when you're single, when you broke up with somebody, it wasn't just like Baba said again. It wasn't just her that you broke up with. The reason why y'all broke up, you did some stuff too. I did some stuff. There was some stuff I could have done with my ex that I probably, if I did it differently, we would have still stayed together, right? But if I was not healed, then I was giving her the sick version of me, and she was giving me the sick version of her. Now we single. When you're single, you are sick, but that is the time where you're supposed to be healing yourself, so that when you get to something, you can be whole.
That part,
right? So it's not meant to say you're crazy. It's meant to say that there's something there that needs to be fixed, because once you're fixed, you're going to find somebody's going to be attracted enough to you enough to say, hey, this is a good dude. Somebody got to be in the room to say that, right? Who that would be, only God knows. But you have to spend that time fixing yourself.
True.
Fine-tuning your peace, fine-tuning your purpose. And once you're there, you're able to sustain something once you get back into it. This is a good conversation, y'all. Turned out well. Turned out well. Thank y'all for coming in. Clinton Woods, I still don't know who you are, but thank you for coming in and ear hustling with us. Raw Dog, I hear you in the front. Joe, I appreciate you. Troy, thanks, bro. Mark, double marks, both marks, 7 and Winkler. And yes. Baba for you, of course. As always, the most elegant man, the modern day Billy D. Williams in the building. I appreciate y'all's energy, man. Let's do this again. I want to do this more. I want to do it in person, but until we build it up, then we'll go in person. But next time, if y'all can make it, we're gonna do this every month. Every third Thursday of the month, I'm gonna come back and do this. But let's invite some more brothers in. It'll be a different topic, of course. But let's invite some brothers in, bring some brothers to the table, to the conversation. And let's keep the Menergy flowing. Appreciate y'all time, man. Have a good evening, everybody. I'll see y'all Saturday if y'all can make it Saturday at 1 o'clock at Ladera Park. We're gonna be talking about real love, what that looks like.
Indeed.
All right.
All right.
All right. Pleasure, everybody.
Pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
Peace out.
Have a good night.
Good night.
You all as well.